Are you wondering which war pet to use with your marchers? If it's archer, mage, infantry, or cavalry? Well, guess what? I'm going to give you a nice, easy, comprehensive guide right now with what war pets you can be using with those marchers and give you a quick little teaser of those hero pairings. Hello, yes, smash a like, comment, and subscribe for more daily videos of me, MrSneakyy, and we're here doing some war pet stuff today. So what we're going to go into is the tier maker here, and we've got, obviously, archers, mages, infantry, cavalry, and action at the bottom, and all flexible one at the bottom. And we're going to go over each one of these individually, and if there's some crossovers, at least it's all going to be time-stamped for you guys, so you can obviously go to each section on where it's going for you. So we're going to do archers first though. So archers is going to be the start on 1, and you're probably wondering which things to go for, right? So the obvious one we can straight away put in is the Snow Peak Rock. This is absolutely made for archers with that defense break mechanic, but it is only a 30% chance. Remember, in order for you to gain that damage. So it is one that you could always start with. It's maybe when you first go into the season, you're thinking of one of the pets and you're playing archers, this might be the one that you want to just pick out of your basic for when you start in the game. But we do have some better choices that I have personally been starting to use way more, and I would honestly recommend the Sand Lizard. Yes, the Sand Lizard is surprisingly really good with archers, because the one thing with archers is you always get focused, right? And you get very, very heavily focused in the game because of how much damage output you can basically put out if you're left unchecked, right? So with the Sand Lizard, what this actually does is 2 things. You can set this up if we go into the game. You're going to be able to actually set this thing up with your Sand Lizard with the Stone Aura, obviously, to get the AoE heals. But more importantly, actually going for the upgrade. And when you get the upgrade, you can get the self-heal, where it's purposely only healing your march, but it's 3.6%, and this is basically an additional passive you can add onto your Sand Lizard, and it's honestly really good with archers. It keeps them surviving a lot longer in the open field than you actually would imagine. But if you didn't want to go for the self-heal and you was actually running maybe 2 archers or 3 archer pairings in the future, you can just rock normal Sand Lizards and let them all AoE heal each other, and it's a nice, honestly, synergistic combo that a lot of players, and I think the meta, is slowly going to start shifting towards. So really good a little combo there with the Sand Lizard. And one where we are going to go straight into while we're on the page here before we put him on is this Golden Rock. Because the Golden Rock has an attack range of near. So as long as you've got near or more, you're going to be good to go, right? And this is going to be one which is okay. Grants you rage accumulation speed for your march. There isn't really no archers in the game that allow you to obviously get a mass amount of rage accumulation speed to take advantage of this, to be honest. So I wouldn't actually use this right now at the moment. That's what I'm going to say. Just I wouldn't just waste your time on it when it comes into that category, right? So we have got, like I say, 2 of them right now, which is the Snow Peak Rock as well as the Sand Lizard. So let's go and speak about the next area, because I'm not gonna lie, when we go into the tier list here, you can see there's a few of them at the bottom, right? And at the bottom here, we've got the Golden Rock, but I don't honestly want to recommend it for archers, just because, again, it isn't that synergistic with them. However, another one which really is synergistic is another lizard, and that is the venomous one. Because the venomous lizard, surprisingly for archers, is basically the same thing that you're already doing. So you can imagine if you're playing an archer march right now and you're going into battle, you're going to do a load of counter attack damage if you're rocking someone like Nico and you've got Kanara there. And guess what? If they attack you even further, you're going to start dealing even more damage to them, and you can obviously increase the amount of damage dealt, which is even more insane. This is obviously, you can put a lot of different skills onto the Venomous Lizard to make this more powerful, which is a very good little just powerful thing. Honestly, all the lizards, I'm just gonna say, are really surprisingly good compared to some of the actual major beasts when it comes into the game. So that is honestly all of the archers. That's the top 3 you're going to be using. And if you're going to rank these in any order, I'd honestly rank it like this. I'd actually put the Sand Lizard at the top for the archers, and then Venomous Lizard. If you get one or the other 1 star first, just start using it and you're going to be honestly rocking out the open field combat. But Snowpeak is going to be one for you guys to use. It is a nice basic pet if you want something that's flying based too, for maybe the flying archers. This is definitely the one that you would be using with that march. So these are all the archers. Let's go over the next category, which is mages. Mages galore, yes. And mages are really good actually for the pets they have. They've got quite a powerful range of pets to pick from, and it's all down to the pairings that you go with, right? So with mages, we're gonna just tailor this mainly for basic combos. So this is your Fear Valen, your Valen, and your Waldeer, you know, Waldeer, Alloin, just all your basic combos, which isn't including Fear. We're going to put Fear in the all flexible category later on for those purposes. But when we talk about other mages though, you've got some really powerful ones to go with. Straight away, as you can imagine, Sapphire Phaedric is the go-to war pet for mages. It's just going to deal a bunch of damage, and it increases the amount of damage you have by simply putting debuffs. So these debuffs that you're actually applying are the ones that are mage related, just to remember this. So this is either Scorch, Freeze, or Ensnare. So again, Alloin, all of your Lilia, or any of your Valens and your Waldeer all cover this Forceful Pain Bloom, allowing you to deal even more damage over time. So very powerful effect. So this is what you're going to be wanting on that pet. But when we're going into the next one, I'm going to go straight into another very burst heavy pet, which is actually the Thunder Lizard. Yeah, if you really wanted to, the Thunder Lizard here is an intelligent based pet, magical based, and instead of dealing like damage over time or having a restriction, it is all about pure big burst. So if you want a really quick big burst of damage from magical users, Tempest is the skill you're going to be wanting for the electrical lizard, and you can be using this honestly on your mages. This is going to be good as well, just to let you guys know, on any of the mages in the game, because again, it is just very far range. It doesn't have any sort of requirements on this, and that allows the Thunder Lizard to honestly excel because of that very far range on Tempest with the very far range on mages. It's just honestly match made in heaven, right? So we got another one to go over here, which is pretty simple, the Thunder Lizard. And I'm not gonna lie, for me, I'm gonna put the Thunder Lizard at the top straight away. I think the Thunder Lizard is the best mage actual pet you're gonna have for quite a while until we get some better pets in the game. And the reason why you're gonna be wanting this is because of simply the effect of the slow. You're gonna get 15% slows as well as a nice little bit of damage on top of your march. And the thing is, in open field combat, slowing down enemies is absolutely key to keep getting those kills and merits when they're trying to run away. And this is going to be another game changer in the whole lineup when it comes into the open field scenario. So I think this is a no surprise. I'm not going to go too in depth on the Ice Lizard. It is a very powerful pet indeed, and I think if you haven't checked it out, we did do a full guide on it, so you can check out the full guide if you're looking for that information. So we're going to go into infantry now, and infantry is in a very weird spot because you have the obvious two straight away, which is the two bears. So Frostbear is mainly used for the Madeline March, or if you're going to run something a bit crazy like Madeline Fear, which people have been trying, this is what the Frostbear wants to do. So anytime you generate a shield, it's going to start dealing damage back, right? Very cool little ability that you can have, but just to remember with this ability when we go and check out the actual Frostbear mechanic, it says when you, upon gaining a shield, and as we've been testing it out, Heart Wall does trigger it. So if you have Heart Wall on this pet with Frost Armor and Madeline, guess what? You've got a really high uptime on this. And you can see here we've got Dauntless as a shielding effect, just to make this a little bit bigger, which is really cool. At the moment we've got Shield Breaker, which is just a nice little defense penetration for the damage to actually punch through and actually do a little bit more than people actually expect. But just remember, this is a 40% chance of dealing damage, so it is only below 50% chance, but you'd be surprised on how often this actually does go off when you are using the Frost Bear, right? Then we have the Stripe Bear, and the Stripe Bear is the opposite. It is, instead of shielding, it's all about the heals. So anytime you actually get healed with a hero skill this time, this is very specific, it will gain Vigor. So anytime you're getting healed by Eliana, or even your Atheist heals, your Garwood obviously heals, any of these healing abilities, Bakshi, all can actually benefit with Friendship. This is a very good, cool skill for them. It just makes you super tanky, and with this you can actually go for numerous builds. If you really want to go for super high healing, you can, but you can again go for stuff like the counter attack damage build with like counter attack and wild counter attack and stuff like that, and it makes the Stripe Bear surprisingly a really good candidate for the infantry unit. So obviously those are the two that you can imagine would be on this list, but one that also does make the cut, as you can imagine, will be, and I'm going to steal them both, is both the lizards. Both of these lizards are surprisingly match made in heaven again for the infantry units. Why? You're going to be doing a load of damage, and if you're frontlining, the Sand Lizard allows you to do a bunch of healing, which is great. And then again, you're going to be attacked a lot, and with all the counter attack damage you have with infantry, guess what? The Venomous Lizard does a perfect job doing that back. So it's a great little combo you can go for. I honestly would recommend one of these three. I wouldn't go for the Venomous Lizard. I'd actually keep this with the Archers. It's a very good pet for that. But this is the way I would actually keep structuring it at the moment. And just remember, the Sand Lizard is technically able to go on all of them. We're going to rank this in a individual pet tier list later down the season, but this is just for the combos, so you guys can understand what is really good for your marches. So now we've got Cavalry, and this is where obviously the last two pets do actually fit in perfectly, because the thing is with Cavalry units, they do a lot of debuffs and they do a lot of rage accumulation speed, which is great for both of these pets. And the cool thing is, again, with the addition of Cavalry, you can use a Sand Lizard here as well. You can also use the Venomous Lizard. It's up to you, right? But we're going to keep this nice and simple for you guys for the video. So when we're going into the actual pets themselves, the reason why these pets are so effective with the ones we've obviously said with Cavalry is when you look at Cowardice, it's always about debuffing the enemy. Obviously, if you apply Cowardice, which is exclusively at the moment done for your Foreigner, he's going to get 2 stacks, which is very powerful. So you could be running different types of heroes and obviously either debuffing the enemy through talents and then using the Cowardice to get additional triggers, which allows you to pump out a ton of damage when it comes into battle, right? So this is an easy candidate for the different types of cavalry units that want to be using it. And no one that you could also do is the Golden Rock, and this is because it is near, right? And because it's near, the way I really like this with Cavalry is actually running it with Emrys. So if you've got Emrys with Bakshi, Emrys Forendel, you name it, this is going to be a really good actual pet with the Cavalry units. And the reason why you can do this is obviously it's near range, so obviously you can use this for melee based, but what I really like about it is the fact it is near range, and so is the Spring Warden's ranged cavalry units, meaning you can actually get some really fast rage accumulation speeds and rage cycling with this and the cavalry units, right? So I hope that makes sense for the reasons why we're going into those pets at the moment, and that is the tier list for the main marches. So this is all of your archers, mages, infantry, cavalry. So if you're looking for a pet, if you've got one, this is basically where you want to go to. This is the nice and simple meta. I would definitely put the lizard above the Snow Peak Rock just to give you guys a heads up. And this is probably, again, I would keep the Stripe Bear in this order. So if you want to look in, if you're in some sort of like priority order, I actually really like it in this order particularly. And then obviously for Golden Rock, I actually really like the Golden Rock, and then going into this, because the fact Golden Rock is just pure rage accumulation speed. Emrys triggers this, so does Alistair, right? So, and even Bakshi. So we've got 3 cavalry commanders easily doing this, right? So now we've got the last slot, and this is the all and flexible slot. So if you've made it so far through the video, you might want to take a screenshot or go back through the timestamps to get what you want for your obviously units in the game. But this is going to be the all and flexible slot. So this is basically when you are using either a pet for a flexible pick, meaning you can use it on different marches, or you're going to be using stuff like Fear as a very prime example for that march. So really good, all flexible ones which you could always depend on catching in the early game as a war pet, in my eyes, is always going to be the different types of lizards. That is the sand lizard, the ice lizard, and the venomous lizard. These three lizards, surprisingly, are so flexible within the game. You can actually throw these on quite a lot of different marches, and the fact that even with Fear you can run this and keep it more ground based and it's still fine is actually phenomenal right now. Another niche pick which we did mention in the flexible slot only is the Frostbear. You can use the Frostbear with the Fear. Again, this is a very powerful combo if you're looking for something in those eyes. And that, honestly guys, pretty much sums it. That is all you're going to use for the flexible slots, and that's why we did kind of cover these as we were going through the different style of commanders, right? So you could, a different style of war pet, should I say. So we'll put them back in kind of a ranked order so you guys can feel a little bit more comfortable with the pets. But this is the way I would prioritize. These are the pets that I would suggest to use with these types of commanders, and you're gonna go, honestly, very, very well for them. The flexible one, very brief, I know, but it makes sense when you've watched the whole video. You're probably wondering why would I need to go too in depth on there, when we've pretty much covered it during those segments. So that is it, guys. That is the War Pets tier list. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you guys have been capturing your pets. As you can see, we've been cracking on. We've got a bunch of legendaries going through with a bunch of different, obviously, attributes, and we're aiming to try and get better skills basically right now. All I'm trying to do is get better skills, and once we've got those better skills, like stuff like the Pain Bloomer here we've got and the Tempest, then we're going to start working on those pets. So yeah, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Smash a like, comment, and subscribe, and hopefully this might help you guys decide what war pets do you want to put with your heroes in the open field PvP combat. And until the next video, stay safe, stay sneaky, guys, and peace out.